your brain is secretly ruining your life. It's sabotaging you on a daily basis, and you probably don't even realize it most of the time. Because if you have ADHD, your brain is dramatically different to that of normal people, which leads to your life becoming dramatically worse if you don't understand how to fix it. You see, your brain's neurochemicals are lower in dopamine, the neurochemical that drives excitement, leading to your brain constantly seeking stimulation so life doesn't get boring. Well, what if I told you that this leads to you being more easily attracted to fights and drama, which is part of the reason why a lot of us ADHDers jump into toxic relationships. Even if it's painful, at least it's not boring. You know what I'm talking about. It's when you scroll late at night to find that dark YouTube video you know you shouldn't click on, but you secretly desire the chaos and darkness it brings because at least it makes you feel something. It's also where there's a high chance you've thought or will think about clicking away from this video to something more engaging. But I dare you to stay, because I'll reveal the secret and how to fix this once and for all forever. And at the end, I'll tell you about a secret technique that you can use to put an end to everything that holds you back, almost like at the push of a button. Let me know if you can relate to this. You procrastinate up until the very last minute of a deadline, so you finally have enough feelings of urgency to get that project done. Even though you hate it, you still do it every single time, don't you? Are you getting a sense for why? You hyper-focus on activities that provide you with instant gratification rather than working on something long-term, because starting something new is just more thrilling and gives you dopamine. Whenever life becomes too boring, you start looking for drama or engage in self-sabotage and risky behavior, since this stimulates your brain. And even though this often results in a downward spiral that you know will be difficult to get out of, you just can't help it. This is why life with ADHD can be such a whirlwind. You'd rather experience drama than nothing at all. Let's go one layer deeper. Because this stimulation problem is also the reason why you're constantly choosing negative self-talk, like I'm not good enough, this person doesn't like me, or I'll never be able to break this cycle. Because what could be more stimulating and keep your brain active, especially when you want to sleep at night, than thinking about how you can solve the problem of being a loser who will never amount to anything? But wait, hold on. That word choose. Are we really choosing these problems? Do we even have a choice in the problems and stimulations we chase if we have a dopamine deficient brain? What do you think? It's interesting because while it may be difficult to choose in the moment, perhaps we should have chosen a different path altogether right from the beginning. But maybe it's also not too late to start. In fact, right now, maybe even the best moment to start. Let me explain. A few years ago, I became aware of all the negative problems my ADHD brain purposely attracts into my life, and I learned about the fact that this will never go away because ADHD will likely be with you for the rest of your life, which gave me a choice to make. Either I keep following the path I'm on right now, chasing problems and stimulation to the detriment of my physical and mental health. Yes, my brain won't get bored and I'll be stimulated 24/7, but chances are this path won't last long. It's a fast life. Or I go with option 2. What is option 2? Well, before I tell you what it is, it's important to understand that problems can be both positive and negative. A positive problem is a challenge for you to master. It's not an obstacle, but a stepping stone. It will keep you engaged and give your brain stimulation, all the while propelling you forward. Everything changed in my ADHD journey once I realized that in order to not derail myself, I always need to have intense things going on in my life, but that these can also be positive. But let's talk about you. Yes, you, the person watching this right now. Hey, how you doing? What do positive problems, challenges, look like for you? Well, since your brain always needs something to fix, maybe you should fix for a living. In fact, why not make fixing your main occupation? An occupation should keep you occupied, after all. For example, the data shows that a lot of consultants, entrepreneurs, or emergency responders have ADHD because the crazy thing is that your constant need for stimulation actually gives you the unfair advantage of very often being the best problem solver in the room. And so maybe, just maybe, you need to find a job that always gives you something new to fix. New. All right, let's not forget about novelty, because new things not only help us stay stimulated, but also give us the best problems to solve. You travel to a new country, can't speak the language, but somehow still manage to rent out a scooter for the month. It's these experiences that we learn something from, that we grow from. And also, let's not forget about what happens when we dedicate ourselves to a new place or project. We meet new people. One of the most stimulating and interesting things is connecting with people that you can learn something from, who have a different and new perspective that helps you see the world just a bit differently. Is all of this not stimulating? Is all of this maybe the only thing you have to do if you have ADHD? Well, it all sounds great and hopefully makes sense to you. But still, none of this would work until you fundamentally reframe your beliefs to understand this one thing. Your ADHD brain will be stimulated by things it wants to do, not things it should do. You have an interest-based brain that you have trained on your wants and needs. And so the most important thing for you is to find interest in growth. No, I'm not talking about leg extensions. I'm also not necessarily talking about money. Growth is very personal and comes in many forms. It can be spiritual. It can be working through challenges in therapy. Yes, it can also be career-oriented, but the most important thing is just that you become a more fulfilled person with positive energy through it and realize that the problems you solve when you're on the journey of growth disproportionately affect your energy levels compared to those other more negative problems. Because while negative problems suck you dry, positive challenges charge you up over time, which will lead to you being able to master even bigger challenges down the road. Growth attracts growth. If you chase challenges instead of problems, you will simultaneously attract incredible results. You will finally use your brain to your advantage instead of being enslaved by it. You just need to reorient your focus. I know, for most of you, this might seem impossible right now. Video games and parties might be the most interesting thing. Or maybe you're stuck in the loop of self-sabotaging behaviors we talked about earlier. And I get it. I've been there. But just imagine you wake up in the morning and can't wait to get out of bed. Just imagine having the same hyper-focus and energy that you have for video games for your life. Just imagine the thrill of leveling up in real life every day. I know, it almost sounds too good to be true, but it is possible. How? Well, through having the courage to try an experiment. An experiment for 30 days where you see yourself in the future, not the past. An experiment where you allow yourself to believe in your highest calling. An experiment where you notice negative self-talk, but choose not to believe it. Where you don't people please, but where you go deep inside yourself and truly ask what you need to accomplish in your life to feel more accomplished and what has the highest likelihood of giving you that feeling every day. If we're talking about careers, ask yourself what interesting challenges will help you earn money. Write down what you're interested in, what you're good at, and what can help you earn the most. And then find the intersection between those three sectors. Choosing that path will likely facilitate growth in every aspect of your life, both mentally and physically. Don't make the mistake of staying in a job just because it pays well. Remember, the journey is not supposed to be easy. That's the point. We ADHDers need the challenge that comes with growth. It's absolutely necessary to keep your brain stimulated. Yes, it might seem risky right now. And it is. Again, that's the point. But also, maybe the even bigger risk is sacrificing yourself for the long term. Because even though the only risk we see is often right in front of us, the biggest risk of all may be to not take any risk at all. If you don't know where or how you want to grow yet, that's okay. Some things only reveal themselves on the journey. So don't be afraid to just try different things out and start. There's no failure, just progress. And thankfully, trying things out already comes naturally to you. Because throughout the years, I learned that we ADHDers have a lot of challenges. But something we usually excel at is taking risks. Trying something new and leaving our comfort zone is essential for this experiment to work, and you already have an unfair advantage when it comes to starting. You work best when needing to solve problems because they stimulate your brain, which begs the question, what kind of problems do you really want to solve? Let me know in the comments. Don't stop chasing stimulation. Simply stay stimulated through growth. To get there, you need to set a goal that's so stimulating, it lights a fire inside of you each and every day. For me, it was becoming a full-time content creator, because I always loved watching movies and telling stories. But if I'm completely honest with you, the road in getting there was anything but easy. I also struggled a lot with inconsistency, poor focus, and just a lack of executive function in the beginning when I was chasing this goal. I was missing uploads constantly, not making any progress for years on end. At one point, I was even on the brink of giving up. I was so frustrated because I made so little progress over a few years and realized if I keep going like this, my dream will never become a reality. I thought I was just not able to execute on it consistently enough to ever make it work. But I didn't give up just yet. After tons of trial and error, I discovered a science-backed process that allowed me to consistently focus and execute without any executive dysfunction or procrastination. This made consistent execution easy as pie. I was uploading consistently. And a few months in, I started growing like crazy on social media to the point where I was able to quit my job and pursue it full time. It was insane and still is to this day. If you want to know how this science-backed process works and how you can apply it into your own life, click the video link in the description. This will take you to a free video explaining exactly how this works without any discipline or willpower, why it works consistently for almost anyone with ADHD, and how this process transformed the lives of hundreds of ADHDers. Click the link in the description to check out the video. Stay inspired, and I'll see you very soon.